guys, welcome to KAKE. So Jake and I just spent the last weekend at Santapod up in Wellingborough for the Euro finals, and it was an all-out 3-day weekend from drag racing, of course, to monster trucks and stuntmen, and even this crazy seeing robot wandering around that was called Titan. So what we did is we arrived early Friday morning to get set up with some family who were camping there before heading over to the pits to kind of check out what vehicles would be racing over the weekend and also see what bits and bobs were being sold in the shop. Some of the cars began some of their engines, and just the idling of some of these cars made your lungs vibrate and the ground shake. It was intense straight off the bat. You know, this event just had everything from pro mods, top methanols, stock cars, top fuels, which were personally some of my favourites, as well as funny cars, nitro and nostalgia funny cars, and then stock bikes, super twin bikes, top fuel bikes, and even juniors, which surprised me. If you ever are convinced to go and see this event, I would definitely recommend some headphones. Now, one thing to bear in mind with these races is that these two cars aren't necessarily racing each other. It had to be explained to me because it was quite confusing at first, but essentially what these vehicles are doing is that they are racing themselves. So they tell the race administrators, my vehicle is capable of doing this quarter mile in, say, 6 seconds, and their goal is to try and get as close to 6 seconds as possible. So if they get 6.01, that's very, very good. But if they get 6.5, for example, that's not great. And that's kind of how this is scored, because obviously you can see in these videos, some of these vehicles aren't even coming close to one another, but that's not necessarily what they're trying to achieve, if that makes sense. Jake and I decided to walk back behind the start line to get a glimpse of the cars coming onto the track, and it was somehow so much louder behind the cars. I mean, it makes sense, but we didn't bring headphones with us, and I swear that my eardrums almost instantly burst when the first cars were simply just warming up their tyres. They didn't even go, just warming up their tyres was so incredibly loud. We had to leave. It honestly just baffles me that there are humans out there who willingly climb into these contraptions and just sit in front of jet engines and just do this as a hobby. But it's just incredible and it's so impressive, and I just can't believe it exists almost, but I'm so glad it does because it offers such amazing entertainment, and it's such a niche community of people that enjoy these types of events, and everyone's so nice and so kind, and it's just thrilling to watch. And yeah, it was just really, really well put together. Everyone clearly had a great time. There was people from all over the world. I saw flags from Switzerland and Greece and Sweden, so people came from very far away to show off their vehicles. You can see in this clip now some of the kids on their little bikes, which was really, really cute, but also crazy impressive as well, because they're probably going quicker than I ever will in my life in my car. So it was an amazing event, very well organised. We were lucky enough to know Gary Anderson, the driver of Podzilla here, who let us round back to come up close and personal with Podzilla, and the team behind this machine was so generous of knowledge, and they were very happy to tell us all about how Podzilla came to be, you know, how expensive such a thing is to run. And we even got to climb up into the seating area there, which was terrifying for me specifically, but it was surprisingly comfy. But we were assured that as soon as Podzilla is moving, it is not nearly as comfy because there is little to no suspension in the seat. So you are strapped down as hard as possible so that you move around as little as possible. Otherwise, all of that power goes straight through you. Overall, it was a really fantastic 3 days, and there was a lot that I wasn't able to record, such as fireworks and live bands in the evening. But if you were staying for the full 3 days camping, there was never a lack of stuff to do, and all of the vehicles were so impressive. The people themselves were even more impressive, and it was just a really, really great time. And if you're ever interested in some sort of motorsport that is maybe a little bit different, I'd really, really recommend coming along to Santapod. They do all sorts of events throughout the year. This was one of the biggest ones, the Euro final, but they do all sorts with supercars and even trucks, and I'd really recommend it. Anyway, if you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you stick around for future adventures that Jake and I go on, and maybe my editing skills will get a little bit better as they go on.